Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Miss Eileen, and I want to start today's show by letting you know what we're going to cover today. The first topic we're going to cover is updates to the Anchor app. Anchor.fm is a podcasting app where you can do everything on mobile. But if you're desktop oriented, like yours truly, you can also publish your podcast from desktop. So they've made a couple of updates. We're going to get into that. And we're also going to talk about some updates to the Twitter app, actually, little hidden features for the Twitter mobile app. Now, I'm on iPhone, but I think some of these little hacks will help you if you're on Android as well. So, let's start off with a little show and tell. I want to show you this latest update from Anchor, and this is just a short clip to demonstrate their new video transcription feature. I remember the days back in 2009. It's so clear. It's like it was yesterday. I first started podcasting and creating YouTube tutorials. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't understand the technology. I didn't know what gear I needed to use. And worst of all, I had no idea how to promote my content. Well, if that sounds like you, let me introduce myself. My name is Eileen Smith, and my goal is to help bridge that information gap that's standing between you and creating your best content ever. So now you can sit back and relax. Let's get started. So that is really cool to see that they've made a change to the way those video transcriptions look. I gotta be honest. The other version of the videos, I always thought it was a little on the lame side. But, it was nice that we were able to make those little videos, but we can now use a little bit more of a design that really reflects the brand, the rebranding that Anchor did a while back when they hired on a new graphics artist. And, Anchor has won awards for their design, and the award actually came from Google. So I really think that this is a great thing, and I'm going to do a little bit of a demo on how to create those. And I just want to say hi to some of my friends who are here in the audience today. And there's my buddy Studio Geek. Good morning. How are you? And that's Studio Geek 32 for those who want to follow him on YouTube. And also my dear friend Ruth from What's the 411 TV. And she's also here on YouTube. So let's just get this all tweeted out. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see the common sense mamita. Hello, my dear. How are you? You just look like you are ready to take on the day. I love that profile pic. Okay, so I'm going to get this tweeted out and make sure that my friends over on Twitter, I'm using the power of the Stream Deck. As a matter of fact, I forgot to mention that this podcast and this episode of today's live stream here on YouTube is brought to you by the power invested in me in EcammLive. So, my friends over at EcammLive are making all kinds of updates too, but y'all have to stay tuned for that. We're not going to go into those today. So, let's just take a look at the Anchor desktop. Okay, you could do it on mobile as well, but I think it's much easier for me to demonstrate this for you today on desktop. So hopefully we can get you here up really quickly. All right, so you're going to log in to your Anchor account and go over to your dashboard. This first little thing that I want to show you is actually much, much more important than the update to the video transcription. So because I want to make sure that you get that value right up front, I want you to pay attention to something that you can do in your settings. So you're going to go up to the top right hand corner and click on Update Settings. Then you're going to scroll down. And the reason why this is important because it is related to your RSS feed. And you should know that your RSS feed is the lifeblood of your podcast. And here under the Advanced tab over on the left-hand side here, I'm hovering my mouse there so you see what I'm talking about. The Advanced tab, this is your RSS feed. It's giving us the option now to display our personal email address publicly in the RSS feed. Now, why is this important? This is important because different apps and people who are subscribing to your podcast or your RSS feed, they will see that you are the content creator of the podcast. People can go through and find out how to get in touch with you. They can see that email address instead of, so what happens if you don't turn that on? What happens if you don't turn that on is there's this auto-generated email address that Anchor sends out that nobody is actually monitoring. So this is just something that they do in the process of creating your account. And nobody monitors those emails. So if there's any emails going and they're just going to the, an inbox that nobody's paying attention to. But this way, your email address is there, and this is also important when you're trying to claim your podcast in other apps, not the ones that have been introduced by Anchor. So, very important, make sure you toggle off that button. In fact, I'm going to show it one more time just to make sure. If you were multitasking, stop what you're doing, because I want you to see this. You're going to just toggle that button off. I'm sorry. You're going to toggle it on to display your email address. Now, I'll give you an example. If you go in here, you're going to see all this gobbledygook that looks like, a bunch of code. But if you see right here where I'm highlighting, it says that my iTunes email, and that's my personal email address, okay? Not the one from Anchor. And this is a time when I want to remind you about two taps. Two taps. Does anybody know what I mean by two taps? This is the origin of two taps. A lot of YouTubers will say, smash that like button, smash that. I don't want you smashing anything. We love our iPhones. We love our Android phones. We love them. We don't want to smash them. We want to lovingly and gently tap that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and for those of you who are already subscribed, just tap once to give it a thumbs up. I see 2 people have done that so far. And tap it a second time to share it on your social media platform of choice. And if you use Twitter, by the way, go ahead and add my Twitter handle, which is ILEANE. So everybody will know who's giving these Twitter and Anchor updates today. All right. Thank you so very much for being here and for being able to do those 2 taps. Okay? And so, Studio Geek is tweeting out my stream. Thank you. Also, Common Sense Mamita says it's a great tip. Thank you. And we have someone else here use Common Sense TV channel. Thumbs up for Eileen Smith. Thank you so much. Now, Eileen Smith is the YouTube channel name, but on Instagram and on Twitter and on Pinterest. If there anybody out there that's using Pinterest, it's just simply Eileen. I got there first. Someone else got here first on YouTube and grabbed ILEANE. But, I ain't hating on her. She's adorable. All of the Eileens are adorable. I did it 3 weeks ago. Okay, I shared it now, Eileen. Thank you so much. Wow, you're awesome. And Common Sense Mamita has tweeted as well. I just love you guys. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get to the other Anchor update, and I will show you how to create those little movies that I showed at the beginning. And Use Common Sense has shared to their community. So let's go back over to desktop here. All right, so first thing you need to do is to scroll down to where your episodes are. Now, let me just give you a heads up. I'm sorry. You have to tap on the episode. Let's start with this. You have to tap on the episode tab. And what you're going to be looking for is any segment. When we're using the Anchor app, I'm coming back on screen because I want to make sure you guys understand this. When you're using the Anchor app, depending upon how you create your episode, you can compile various segments together to create one episode. So, for example, I showed you that intro earlier. In fact, I'm just going to roll that little intro again because I know some of y'all just got here, and I like this intro anyway because it tells my story. I remember the days back in 2009. It's so clear. It's like it was yesterday. I first started podcasting and creating YouTube tutorials. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't understand the technology. I didn't know what gear I needed to use. And worst of all, I had no idea how to promote my content. Well, if that sounds like you, let me introduce myself. My name is Eileen Smith, and my goal is to help bridge that information gap that's standing between you and creating your best content ever. So now you can sit back and relax. Let's get started. Okay, so now with these transcribed videos, I personally like to call them audiograms, okay? Let's talk about them a little bit before we even show how to use them. All right, why do you want to use these audiograms, and what's so hot about them? Okay, in people's busy social media feeds, they see things and they're scrolling through and you want to give them something to make them want to stop and pay attention. So the animation of that transcribed video, I'll just call them audiograms because transcribed video is hard for me to say anyway. The animation of the audiogram, for one thing, if their device is silent, or even if they're on desktop and it's silent, they see the words going across the screen. People are starting to get used to seeing these because there's so many different tools that you can use to create these audiograms. But when they see that little waveform up at the very top, that lets them know, okay, somebody's promoting their podcast. Well, some people may or may not click through. So your goal with the audiograms is to maybe alert folks to the fact that you have a new episode. Also to keep you top of mind as being a podcaster. Because there's people that are following you that may not even realize, oh yeah, I forgot she had a podcast. Now in my case, people may say, oh yeah, I forgot she had 2 podcasts. That's the Anchor show. Okay? So you're really trying to stay top of mind. You're catching people's attention. And if they actually do stop the scroll to see your anagram or your audiogram, they're going to see maybe some of the words that come across the screen that are going to like really make them, you know what, I need to listen to this episode. This is talking about what I want to talk about. Okay? You can make these in different formats, different layouts. So I'm going to show you that now. But I just want to make sure that you understand it's not always the concept of getting new subscribers. It's more about being top of mind, that you are a podcaster, and making people aware that you have new episodes or you've got this great episode. Because you don't have to make them every time you have a new episode. You may have one that's in your back catalog that you want to bring attention to. So it's great that you can use this audiogram. And, you know, there's like 5 or 6 companies that off the top of my head I can think of. I'm not going to rattle them off right now, but that are making these. Well, I will. I'll give you 2. Headliner. Headliner's a good one. And then there's also Wave. It's Wave with 2 V's. And I think I have an affiliate link for Wave. But they have added functionality. You can change the color, you can bring in your own artwork and little things like that. But just understand the point behind it. And Common Sense Mamita says, can you list them? Yeah, I gave you 2. I gave you my 2 favorites, my 2 recommendations. Headliner, and I believe that's headliner.app, and Wave. Let me make sure the way Wave is spelled. WAVVE, I believe. .co. Yes, and I do have an affiliate link, which I will put in the description. You know, but you want to get started with the free tools just to, you know, put them out there to see if, first of all, if you like making them. You may find out that the audio piece that you decided to make this audiogram from, maybe it wasn't the greatest choice of audio piece. Okay, because remember, if you got the words going across the screen, you got to be saying something that people want to, you know, hear. Right? So that one for me was really a promo that I would use just in general to promote the podcast. And I use that as an intro on several episodes. So I wouldn't use that to say, listen to this episode. I would put that out there on Twitter and maybe upload it as a video for Facebook. Remind people, y'all know I do have the Anchor Show podcast, right? Okay, so before we even get into showing how to make it, because creating them is really pretty straightforward, I want you to understand why you would use them and how I think you can get more bang for your buck. You don't want to post it every day. You don't want to have one of these things in your social feed all the time, because after a while, people will just ignore you. And that's the same way with anything you're posting on social media. This is no exception, right? But you do, especially if you've got this podcast. I know my friend Ruth is here, and she was saying that let me go back to her comment where she says she just activated her email address on Anchor. Thanks for the update. So now Ruth, she may want to make sure that people know that I know I've got that YouTube channel and y'all follow me on Twitter and Facebook and things, but don't forget, we also have this as a podcast. A lot of her followers may not know that. So this may be something she may want to publish or put in her Twitter feed once a week or once every other week, just as a reminder. Okay? All right, so think about that before you just like every time you put out an episode or every day you upload an audiogram. I don't want people turning y'all off, okay? And I don't want you turning them off. Okay, so now let's talk about how to create them from desktop. You can do this from the phone, but I'm not going to show that today. All right. So what you need to do is look for an segment of your show that is under 1 minute. Under 1 minute, okay? Anchor won't transcribe it for you if it's over. So here you see this little video icon. When you see that, you know that this is available for transcription, okay? And use common sense. I'm sorry, I forgot that you had been commenting too and saying thanks and saying, ma'am, how can I get a sponsor on Anchor? You have to wait. There is no magic wand that I can wave. I can make a couple suggestions because it's a good question. So I'm actually going to interrupt my flow because use common sense TV. First of all, I love that he was so polite, or she was so polite with this question. And it's going to be a quick answer. Keep putting out content. Keep putting out content because the people who are coming in and wanting to buy sponsorships on podcasts, they need to know what your content is about. And if you don't have that much content and you don't have that many followers, they're not going to want to sponsor your show. So what's going to make them want to sponsor your show is, oh, that content is exactly the kind I want to do a sponsorship for. Okay, so there you go. Keep making content and keep it on brand. All right, and, you know, I would make sure that I'm creating PG content as well. If you're looking for sponsors, you don't want to have, you know, just like on YouTube, if you have content that's not PG friendly, you're not going to get that many sponsors, okay? And Mamita says it's valuable information, and Use Common Sense says, okay, ma'am, thank you. You're welcome, my dear. All right, so, and I hope you're in the U.S., because if you're not in the U.S., you're not going to get a sponsor right now. They keep saying that they're going to expand it outside the U.S. They haven't done it yet, all right? So I wasn't sure if you're inside the U.S., and I thought about that for a second. All right, so here we go. This segment here is less than 1 minute. So I have the little video thing. Notice how this segment is 2 minutes. I don't have that little video icon. All right. Now, this was a call-in from someone else. So you're not going to see the video icon. See, that came from Raymond Gerard. He's actually got the handle of Ray on Twitter. So, you know, he's been one of the longtime Twitter folks. All right. Sandra Centurino called in. I can't create a video from her content. I can add it to my podcast, but I can't create it with video from it. All right. So all these ones that you see that are, 58 seconds, but it's from Raphael. All right. So I can't. So the only one that has the little video icon is this one. So I click it on, and in this case, I had already created a video from this one. And I do want to come on cam real quick to say good morning to Modern Day Tech. Thank you so much for your smiling, bringing your smiling face and your lovely aura. Thank you. And don't forget, 2 taps. Wants to share it out and wants to like it up. Okay, guys, thumbs up, please. Our host working hard. Yes, I am. And you know what? This is work, but yet at the same time, I so much enjoy it. All right, so we've got the transcript already created for this one. And what I would do is go in here and edit it. Okay? If there was, like, for example, this one says your girl, Miss Eileen. Well, actually, it's Ms. MS, period. MS period, not it's your girl, Miss Eileen, here okay. With some. All right, so then you save it. And in this case, it says done. Oh, no, it's not done yet. So it takes a minute to generate. So we're not going to sit there and wait for that. But I want you to notice that it has the 3 different formats. The square, which is good for just about everything. You can put that on Instagram. You can put it on Facebook. The wide, which I like to use this wide one on Twitter, but you can also use that on Instagram now and Facebook. and then the vertical. Now, the vertical one would be good for your stories, for your IGTV, and all of that. Okay. So you see there that you have those 3 different formats. I just say download all 3 of them. Once this finishes generating my video, why not? Why not download all 3 of them? They're not going to take up much space on your computer. What you need to do, though, when it's actually time to download it, you'll see it gives it a goofy name. Change it to a name that's going to make you remember what it's about. Because if you're like me, you got hundreds and hundreds of files. Okay, let's face it, thousands of files on your computer. You got to have a name and put it in a folder so you know that's from the Anchor, because you probably already have an Anchor podcast or a podcasting folder somewhere, right, on your computer. Stick with me, kid. I'll keep you organized. You don't want to have that messy desktop that I used to have. Okay, now I know it's done because July the 10th, 2019.
Hang on.
It's your girl. So now I know it's done because it started playing. All right, so let's go back over here and you'll see what I mean here. So this is the square one. And see what I mean about the name of the video? Video 910. That's not going to help me. So I'm just going to say this is the video I used in the demo. Because I don't even have time to listen to it and see what it's about right now, okay? So, and you would go ahead and download the square one and download the vertical one. So you'll have them. It's your content anyway, right? You want to have it in your hip pocket at all times. Okay? So now I got a bonus tip. For those of us who were creating these videos back when they were using the old format, which it was kind of corny. It was lame, okay? It was lame. I never liked it. You know, full confession. All you have to do now to create that, use that same segment, let's just say it was the intro, because I did this, that's how I know, because I went back to my intro, which I had already created a video for. Bonus tip, pay attention, watch the screen. When you click on that little movie icon, now all you have to do is hit reset. You hit reset, and it's going to let you know that, you know, you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to say reset to the original, which means that now I still have to go back in there and edit any errors, like I would change the Miss Eileen look. In fact, I had to change even the way they spell Eileen. They spelled it wrong. How dare you, Anchor? I'm not going to. It's your girl, Miss Eileen. You know, it's really a computer that's doing this, or a machine. ILEANE. Your girl, Miss Eileen, here. So now that I've reset it, then I would go ahead and say save it, and then it goes into the making the audiogram, the transcribed video, the audiogram again. So that's a bonus tip for those of you who've already created those old ugly looking ones. Now you can create the new snazzy looking ones inside of Anchor. And you might want to mix it up, because I already gave you 2 apps you can use to mix it up with. Headliner app and the Wave with 2 V's app. And I do believe that's Eileen.link/wave. Okay. And use common sense. He's hype. He's like, okay, download to my file, right? Yep, download it on your computer. And, you know, I just happen to have an Anchor folder. And if you don't have one, I suggest you make one, or one that says podcast, whatever. That way you can, you know, if you've got more than one podcast or whatever, if podcast is something that's a trigger word for you, just do it that way. Okay? So let's come off of this. And by the way, I was using the Anchor Smart background music in that. If you're wondering why that was sounding so good, that was because I was using the Anchor background music, and I just literally looked through that music and just kept going through until I found one that I thought was really cool because I like cool jazzy type music. You know, even though I want people to kind of be excited and be up and bright, but at the same time, I want y'all to know that, yes, you're okay now. You're cruising with Miss Eileen, right? I don't want all that. You know, most podcasters love to have this loud guitar music, and I like it. I like it for other people, but I don't think it's for me. So whenever I can, I try to find something jazzy and cool. All right. So you stay on brand. And Anchor has got all the tracks. My goodness, they got 100 tracks. I probably stopped after listening to about 30 of them. I was like, okay, I got other stuff to do. But I think it's fantastic that they have so many for us to choose from. Okay? All right. So now, this is a great segue because I want to segue over into someone who is podcasting on Anchor. And this is going to also lead me into talking about, wait a minute, hang on, y'all. I minimized my window. It's so small, I can't see what I'm typing. This is going to segue me over into the Twitter stuff, okay? So I'm going to go to Eileen.link/geek-out. And this podcast is Geek Out with Matt Nivara. Geek Out with Matt Nivara. Okay, hang on. Before we go into Geek Out with Matt Nivara, I see that one of my dear live broadcast watchers is here with a question for me. So, let's put it up on screen as soon as I figure out how I can do that. I move things around. So once I move things around, and I don't know if I'm going to answer this question right now. I am so sorry to ask a question outside the topic, but you recommend the Streamyard in your video, but you use Canvas and Streamlab. Which one is better? Okay, first of all, I don't even know what Canvas is, so forget that. I don't use Canvas. I use Ecamm, EcammLive, which all the links actually in the description right now. You'll see the links for everything. EcammLive only works for folks who have Mac computers. So if you don't have a Mac, you can't use Ecamm, which is why because I want to always help you guys. So this is why I started promoting Streamyard, because you don't have to have a Mac for Streamyard. It's a browser-based live streaming software. But in my opinion, EcammLive is the best. And Streamyard is the best when you want to bring on a guest. Okay, so there you have it. But you can use EcammLive as a virtual cam inside of Streamyard. Then you're winning. And a lot of people like to use it with Zoom. They don't use StreamYard. They've been using Zoom forever and ever. I don't use Zoom. I know how to use it. But our friend Andrew, who comes in here sometimes, he is the Zoom master. And so if you want to know more about that. So there you go. And so I get a love you out of that one. Thank you so much, ma'am. Love you. Yay. You're welcome. All right. So now let's talk about my boy, Matt Nivara. And if you don't know who Matt Nivara is, oh my gosh, just know if you're interested in social media, you have got to follow Matt Nivara, and you've got to subscribe to this podcast. And I'm going to give you the link that's going to give you all of the options to subscribe, okay? So it's going to take you over to Pod News. All right, so it's Eileen.link/geek-out. Now, I am in Matt's Facebook group, And actually, let me tell you how I first got introduced to Matt Nivara. I got introduced to him through Social Media Examiner. Whenever they, every week they do updates on what's going on in social media. They do a live stream. And they would always say, we found out about this from Matt Nivara. And Matt Nivara, and I was like, well, why don't I just watch Matt Nivara? Because everything that happened, y'all say y'all found out from Matt Nivara. Hence, I started following Matt Nivara, really paying attention. And yes, he does break a lot of news. And let me give you a little bit more background about him. Matt Nivara is a social media industry commentator and consultant. Previously worked with The Next Web and for the UK government. He's a self-confessed geek. And Ruth says Matt Nivara somehow gets social media news before everyone else. Yes, because he's a reporter and he's Twitter verified. They don't even verify people anymore. And Matt Nivara has a Facebook group that he is inviting folks to join. So, but before you do that, I want you to listen. Don't go off and join his Facebook group right now. Right now, I want you still focused on me. Because I want to tell you about this podcast. His first episode, he did a trailer episode, but his first official episode came out on the 5th of this month, September. Okay? And first, he has a co-host, and that's Martin SPF Bryant, Bryant. I'm not sure what the Martin SFP, who I'm just getting to know SFP, and that's why I said it wrong the first time. Martin SFP Bryant, but he sounds like a very delightful chap. And they've got great audio quality and all that good stuff. And so that's the co-host of the show. And the show is sponsored by Pinterest. High five, Matt Nivara. You get all kinds of props on that. Because first of all, I love me some Pinterest. And second of all, you got a sponsor before you even started your podcast. So what the what? So he's already halfway there, right? He's already got a sponsorship. He's already got a nice following. Not just that he's got a lot of huge numbers, but he has a targeted following, which he nurtures over in a Facebook group. And now he's nurturing with the podcast. I'm so glad he's doing this because, you never want to build your house on rented land, right? Now, I'm not sure if he's got a website or if he's going to have a website. I'm going to hope that he does eventually. But for now, what he's doing is with the podcast, he's able to corral this audience. And even though he is talking about the Facebook group, he realizes that, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, Matt. And he is the person they bring on BBC and all those other channels, like when there's something going on in social media and they need an expert to come on in the news, it's Matt. And I know because he's posted in the Facebook group, and I told you I'm in the group, right? And I do believe he links to the group on his Twitter account as well. So let's see. If not, I'll have to give you guys that link. Yep, he does. He links to the group on his Twitter. So, all right. Oops, sorry. I didn't show y'all that. Okay, so I clicked the Twitter link is right on that page I gave you the link to already. And then when you see his Twitter profile, you see right there, it's a Facebook group. And of course, you have to, apply. He doesn't just, say, everybody can come on in there. And every now and then he might have to kick somebody out because they be acting up. But it's a great group for those of us like myself who need to be had their finger on the pulse. See how I tap? I even tap on Matt Nivara's podcast. I don't smash. All right, y'all. Y'all know I'm just kidding. Okay. So, the first episode, okay, you're like, when is she going to segue into Twitter? Now, because his first episode, he brought on Sarah Haider, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. It's Haider, Haider, who works at Twitter. Yes, she works at Twitter. And they had a fantastic conversation about, features of Twitter, why Twitter does this, why they don't do that, how they think about this, that, and the other. And I'm not going to, recap the whole episode because I want y'all to go listen to it, right? Okay, this is my point here. But I am going to give y'all a little sneak peek of some Twitter pro hacks. Not pro hacks. They're pro power user tips of how to use the Twitter app. Now, this time I am going to be on my mobile device. Let's see if we can get that going. Yay, we did it. And I think it's positioned where I want it to be, and I hope so, because I can't move it. All right. So the first Twitter hack. If you have multiple accounts attached to your Twitter, okay? And more than likely, if you have Twitter, you might have more than one account. You can sign in with more than one. All right, let's see what Ruth says here. Hang on, let me get that comments window up, because I love when Ruth says, I love Ruth because Ruth is an action taker. I can give y'all tips until I'm blue in the face. But Ruth is like, I'm on it. I'll do it. Yup. I have Matt Nivara's podcast on deck to listen to while I am working. Okay. That's what I'm saying, because, you need that Twitter information. And I'm sure he's going to be bringing on more people because he's connected to these insiders. Okay. All right. So here we go. You have more than one Twitter account. Actually, I have 3 connected up in here. Okay. At the very bottom left, the very bottom, you see that little home? And you see how it looks like it's got a little blue dot there? That means I probably got a notification, on one of the 3. I can see I do have one notification, all right? But forget that notification bell. Look at that little home button. Now I want you to do, we're going to tap again, but this time we're going to press and hold. No smashing, just press and hold. And it brings it up. I can switch. Yay! I can easily switch back and forth. And I also can see that it's on my basic blog tips account where I have the one notification. So I could go to my free podcast host account. I can do all of those very simply and easily right from pressing and holding that home button. Who knew? Who knew? That's like a Easter egg. Nobody knew that was hiding there. Okay? Oh, okay. Sorry, I have to be at church, but I will catch the replay when I get back, and have a great day. And please say a prayers for us, Common Sense Mamita. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm glad you're going to church. Thank you, Miss Eileen, for the updates, and just started my Black Happy Daughter podcast 2 weeks ago. Anchor is so much fun. Yes, Black Happy Daughter. I love that. My daughter could have that podcast name too, because she should be a Black Happy Daughter. I thought I was following you on Twitter, but done now. Oh, okay, good. Sometimes you think you're following, and like, I know I was following that person. Sometimes I wonder if somebody gets unfollowed. It could be just you accidentally clicked on something. Yeah, that happens to me too. So because I know me and you've been connected all over the internet for years now. So, so thanks, Ruth. So I'll make sure I follow back if I'm not, if I haven't. So anyway, that was the first little hack. All right, you press and hold on that home button. All right, so now we're going to go into, I won't do them in the same order she gave them And this next one, I kind of think that some of y'all notice, but I'm not sure. But right down at the bottom, next to the home button, is the search. Did you know that was the search? That little round thing? It's supposed to look like, I guess, like, like you're looking at things under the microscope. And a lot of apps use that kind of an icon. But because Twitter just kind of updated everything, people may not realize that that's a quick way to get to search. Okay? So you could go ahead and search for stuff. And then it tells you your recent searches there, too. So that's good, because you may be searching for somebody because you keep forgetting their Twitter handle. That happens to me a lot. I keep forgetting certain people's Twitter handles. Like, for example, I searched for this guy here, Mac Rappaport. He's a fun guy to follow. He has really fun, has a lot of conversations and fun. But his Twitter handle is a New York actor. But I would have never remember. It's NY actor, actually. But I knew that I wanted to find something that he was talking about. And so, anyway, that's good to be able to quickly get over to search. Okay, so here's the last one I'm going to show you. And then I still have more to tell you, but this is the last one I'm going to show you. The last one I'm going to show you is, if you've noticed here, I'm using the dark mode. And it took me a while to get used to this whole dark mode business. Because, us old folks, the boomers, seniors, whatever you want to call us, AARP members, we like things white with black writing. We're not into all this dark mode stuff. But at the same time, I guess part of this idea of dark mode is that it's easier on the eyes and all that. So after a while, I decided, okay, I'm going to give it a try on at least one app. And so Allison's laughing at me. ask your mommy and your daddy and find out. You tell me if they use dark mode or not, Allison. Allison, I got to make sure I'm subscribed to your channel too. So I decided I would try it on Twitter. Okay, so let me go back to home, all right? So, but if I ever change my mind, what I need to do is go to up at the top, my little profile, right? Click that on and bring up the screen here. And this is where also I see my other accounts there. But if I ever wanted to turn that off and bring back the white, that little light bulb, let's see if I can get a point. I can't get a point going because everything is backwards here. But it's right here. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. So I won't keep trying that because that's not working. It's a light bulb. Click it on and boom. We're back to not being in dark mode. But now I'm starting to get used to dark mode. And this kind of looks like, too pale for me. So I'm going to go back. So there you go. You can easily switch back and forth to dark mode and light mode with the little light bulb icon right at the bottom left. But you have to click on your profile first. That profile icon. All right? Not so much being on your profile. Okay? So you go to home, but then the profile icon. All right? So let me put things back to dark mode. And I have a full tutorial about using dark mode and all the other new features for Twitter desktop. And I will put a YouTube card over here somewhere. Oh, so Ruth says she likes dark mode because it's easier on the eyes. Yeah, I finally caved. At least I'm using it on this. Pretty soon iPhone is going to have dark mode, right? I do believe. I don't know if that's out yet, but I'm willing to experiment with it because I've used it on Twitter now for about 3 or 4 months, maybe. And I realized that it didn't kill me. I survived. So So those are the 3 tips. Press and hold that, then the search button, and then the light bulb. Just toggle dark mode. All right, so here's the next thing that I want y'all, especially the superpower users. Twitter has this prototype app that they are using that's Twitter without all the vowels. So it's TWTTR. TWTTR. And I'm going to put a link here. ILEANE.link/TWTTR. If you want to apply to get in to this little, you can apply. So go to that link and you can apply. But you got to be logged into your Twitter. And Sarah talks all about, well, she don't tell everything about the app, but she talks about the ideas behind it, why they're doing it, what they use it for, the little nickname that they have for it. Bonus points, if anybody knows what that little nickname is, let me know, and you get some bonus points. I don't know what you're going to get for the bonus points, but at least you get some bonus points. And then I'll know that you listened all the way to the end of this broadcast. So, yes. So there you have it. Those are the updates. I think I'm most excited about, for Twitter, I'm most excited about being able to click on and press and hold that home button and being able to switch accounts. That's major for me, because that little notification, when you see that little dot, that little notification dot, it drives you nuts. And then you're like, well, what happened? Did somebody retweet me? Did somebody shout me out? Well, what? And now it's just so much easier. And I think just even the act of pressing it just reminds me of my little 2 taps. Because, nobody talks about 2 taps. Everybody always talking about smash. You don't smash it. You just press and hold. And so it just reminds me of my whole thought process and behind, coming up with the 2 taps. I don't think the Twitter link is working. Oh, okay. TWTTR, that's what, oh yeah, because I typed it in wrong. HTTPS, not HTPPS. Sheesh. How my power user supposed to get over there, Eileen, if you type it in wrong? All right, so this time I'm not going to talk while I'm typing TWTTR. So it's ILEANE.link/TWTTR. All right, and that's going to take you to a little survey. Oh, and this is only on iOS. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that earlier. This little experiment that Twitter is doing is only for iOS users right now. Okay, I didn't get my acceptance yet, but y'all know when I do, y'all want. I don't know if there's any kind of a. Okay, I'm shocked I missed that. Yeah, because there's so much that happens, Ruth. So much. It's almost impossible to keep up. That's why having these little tips like joining the Facebook group, if you're a Facebook user, if joining Matt's Facebook group, because not only does he come in there with the breaking news, you've got all these other social media managers that come in, and great contributors that come in and say, hey, I noticed this. Does anybody else see it? And you'll know this, certain things are only in certain countries, or maybe it didn't roll out to you yet, or maybe it's an old feature that people just haven't been paying attention to. All kinds of things. That's that conversation. This is the great thing about having a Facebook group, when you have the right people in the group, because that's all we talk about in that group. You just geek out about social media. You missed the link syntax. Yeah, I know. I missed it too. He said the link didn't work, and I'm like, I know I did it right. Oh yeah, but I typed it wrong. So, because I've already, and then they only ask you 3 questions, like what kind of device do you use? I don't even remember the other two questions. It's very non-intrusive, and I thought, well, I guess they take a look at your account. They must be actually not using an AI or a bot to approve people. They're literally looking at your account, I guess, to see, okay, well, does this person even know enough about Twitter to, you know? Because if you don't even know about Twitter, how are you really going to test a prototype? You know what I'm saying? This is just my opinion. I am HO, in my humble opinion. That's how they're deciding who gets in there or not. And maybe it is a bot and it's just, they got it turned off for the weekend. I don't know. Because I just heard about it from listening to the podcast. And there's a lot of stuff in that podcast that you guys, I think, will definitely benefit from. And this is only the first episode. So this is why I say definitely subscribe. Because even if this is like, well, Twitter's not my thing. Okay. He's in with the folks. So he's going to be bringing on good guests. He started with Twitter. In fact, Matt did the first, and I do believe the only ever, Twitter takeover. You know how people do takeovers on Instagram? You see that? Especially, brands will go out and get an influencer to take over their account, especially if there's a conference going on or something like that, or something that they're trying to promote and they want this person to introduce it instead of themselves, right? Twitter never does that. Hey, you probably missed it. You probably missed it because really, I don't know how diligently you follow Twitter, but it's only because I follow Matt that I know that he did a takeover of Twitter's Twitter account. Okay. So, and that reminds me of something really fun that I'll tell you guys before we end the stream today that happened on Instagram, but it was Twitter's Instagram account. I don't know if any of you heard this, but I'm going to go over here and let's do a screen share. And oh wow, no, they're being much more active now. Wow. I don't even know if we're going to be able to find it. But Twitter is being really funny and really snarky over on Instagram. So, they've got 21 posts, so it's not going to be too hard for me to find this one. Oh, this was it. Oh, they turned it into one of those big, oh, geez. I hope I can still get to see it. They turned it into one of those where you have to see all the tweets together. So I'll see what it says. Instagram is literally just screenshots of tweets, and I think Twitter should call them out. So this girl, Mia, M-I-A-A, made this tweet, and so Twitter decided to take a screenshot of it and post it just to be super duper ironic. And this happened back on August the 8th. So this just started going on in the last month, because today's September the 8th, so a month ago. But then they turned it into one of these, where you can't see it unless you look at their whole account. So I thought that was super, super funny when I heard that. And I like that Twitter is, and all, if you notice on their Instagram here, all of their tweets are all of their Instagram posts are screenshots of tweets. And here this person said, isn't Twitter dead? People who like screenshots of tweets on Instagram. Oh, yeah. So they're just being super snarky. And, it's on brand for them because they're talking about tweets. And there's probably a lot more fun stuff. In fact, I'm going to follow them. They have right now 630,000 followers. They're following absolutely no one. So we'll see where this goes. And I'm going to actually try to go out my way to watch. And now they're not doing stories or anything like that over there yet. But I just think it's fun to follow along with and people do screenshot tweets a lot. Even on stories, I see people screenshotting tweets. And actually, what I really see, because I don't follow a lot of people that do that too much, but I'm seeing people that I follow who are resharing somebody else's Instagram. But it'll be a screenshot of a tweet. Okay, it took me forever to say that. But anyway, guys, so there's your updates. Let's just do a quick recap. Anchor's latest updates are to their audiogram or transcribed video feature. It looks a lot more on brand for Anchor, and you can go in and any segment that you've recorded that is under 1 minute, you can create these fun audiograms. And I've talked about today how to use audiograms more effectively. And I've also mentioned a couple of other places where you can get audiograms. And then also, speaking of Anchor, our good friend Matt Nivara, who is a total geek and always brings us all the breaking news on social media, has started a podcast called Geek Out with Matt Nivara. And his first interview was with Sarah Hayter from Twitter. And also he has a co-host on that podcast, which is Martin SFP Bryant. I hope I got that right. And you can not only subscribe to that podcast on Anchor, but I also gave you a special link where you can subscribe it to wherever you listen to podcasts. And he talked with Sarah, and she gave us a couple of pro tips on how to use the Twitter mobile app, which I shared in today's live stream. And I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to the stream. And just want to remind you that there are tons of tutorials here on this channel that are focused on teaching you how to use podcasting, live streaming, and social media. So be sure to check out one of these other videos here, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye for now.